There's a moment in everyone's life, a moment that sneaks up quietly, like a whisper on a windy day, when you realize that what you've been consuming, not just with your mouth, but with your mind, your heart, your habits, your beliefs, has been shaping the person you've become far more than you ever imagined. And sometimes that realization feels like a punch to the gut, because you suddenly see that not everything marketed as good for you is actually good for you. Not everything labeled essential is essential. And not everything you've been swallowing physically, mentally, emotionally is helping you grow. In fact, some of it is slowly, quietly, invisibly holding you back. Today, I want to talk about the things we take in, ideas, routines, assumptions that pretend to be beneficial but are anything but. I want to talk about the invisible ingredients in our daily lives that drain our energy, distort our confidence, and age our dreams before they ever get a chance to breathe. I want to talk about, as the theme suggests, the vitamins you should never take, not the literal capsules on a store shelf, but the metaphorical ones we accept without question, the ones we've been told are harmless, the ones we've swallowed for years, the ones that were supposed to strengthen us but instead weakened us. And I want to expose them, unmask them, strip them of their influence, and empower you to choose differently starting now. Because the truth is simple: your life will rise or fall based on what you allow into your internal world. And today you get to clean house. I'm going to share 3 key points with you, 3 essential truths, 3 transformational shifts that will help you stop consuming the things that drain you and start nourishing the things that elevate you. Let's begin. Key point 1. Stop consuming what depletes you. Think back to a time when someone told you something that sounded helpful, responsible, or wise, but deep down it made you shrink. Maybe it was a parent warning you to play it safe. Maybe it was a teacher who said you weren't ready yet. Maybe it was a friend who told you not to dream too big because disappointment hurts. Or maybe it was a voice inside your own mind whispering familiar lines you've memorized for years. You're not enough, you're not qualified, you're not capable, you're too late. These messages are like counterfeit vitamins, shiny on the outside, toxic on the inside. They promise protection, promise clarity, promise comfort, but what they really deliver is paralysis. They deplete your courage. They sap your momentum. They weaken you slowly, quietly, consistently, not because you're broken, not because you're incapable, but because you've been consuming beliefs that don't nourish you. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a woman at a seminar, a woman with bright eyes and a dimmed spirit. She sat in the back of the room, arms folded, listening intently but cautiously. After the event, she approached me and said, "I want to start a business, but everyone tells me it's too risky. They tell me I'm better off sticking to what I know. They say stability is more important than passion." I asked her a question, one that I'll ask you right now. Who told you that? And why did you believe them? She paused. I could see the wheels turning behind her eyes. Eventually, she said, "I don't know. I guess I just assumed they were right." Assumptions, one of the most dangerous vitamins in the world. We take them without reading the label. We swallow them without asking questions. And suddenly, we find ourselves living a life we never consciously chose. When you consume fear disguised as wisdom, you lose the appetite for possibility. When you consume doubt disguised as responsibility, you forget what belief feels like. When you consume limitations disguised as logic, you trade your future for familiarity. And we do this every day. We consume negativity. We consume comparison. We consume pessimism. We consume the stories of failure that other people hand to us as if they are proof of our own limits. But today can be different. Today, you can choose to stop consuming what depletes you. You can choose to read the label on every belief, every opinion, every expectation before accepting it into your system. Ask yourself, is this nourishing me? Is this strengthening me? Is this aligned with the person I am becoming? If the answer is no, then spit it out, no matter how familiar it tastes, because your potential deserves better ingredients. Key point 2, start nourishing what strengthens you. The second key point is simple but transformative. As powerful as it is to stop consuming what weakens you, it's even more powerful to start nourishing what strengthens you. Your life doesn't improve merely by removing the negative. It improves when you replace it with substance, intention, and meaning. I remember a moment in my own life when I felt burned out, not physically, but spiritually. I was running on empty, trying to pour energy into everything and everyone but myself. I kept waiting for motivation to show up, waiting for clarity to appear, waiting for the right moment to take my next step. But motivation doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who cultivate. It comes to those who fuel their inner world with the things that uplift, energize, and empower. I realized I needed to nourish myself, not with cliches, not with empty affirmations, but with practices that built resilience, curiosity, and connection. So I started asking myself what strengthens me. And the answers came slowly at first, then all at once. Clarity strengthened me. Taking time to understand my what gave me direction. Courage strengthened me. Doing the thing that scared me instead of running from it expanded my capacity. Challenge strengthened me. When I stopped avoiding discomfort, I started discovering possibility. Conversation strengthened me. Sitting with people who dreamed bigger, thought deeper, and lived braver elevated my own sense of what was possible. Creativity strengthened me, exploring ideas without judgment made room for growth. And here's the most important truth I learned: strength doesn't come from what you avoid. It comes from what you cultivate. If you want confidence, cultivate self-trust. If you want resilience, cultivate consistency. If you want clarity, cultivate reflection. If you want progress, cultivate action. Nourish the habits that build you. Nourish the relationships that uplift you. Nourish the thoughts that expand you. Nourish the dreams that whisper your name every morning, even when you pretend not to hear them. Because your life will always reflect the nutrients you feed your mind. Stop nourishing fear. Start nourishing belief. Stop nourishing excuses. Start nourishing effort. Stop nourishing the voices that shrink you. Start nourishing the ones that stretch you. Every day, you get to choose depletion or growth. Choose growth. Key point 3. Trust yourself more than the noise around you. And now we come to the final key point, a point that may be the most important of all. Trust yourself. In a world filled with experts, influencers, commentators, and constant advice, it's easy to forget that the most important voice you'll ever hear is your own. Not the loudest voice, not the most credentialed voice, the most important voice. You know yourself better than anyone else. You know what feels aligned and what feels forced. You know what energizes you and what drains you. You know what feels authentic and what feels artificial. But somewhere along the journey of life, you were taught to distrust your instincts. You were taught to outsource your wisdom. You were taught that other people know more about your path than you do. And so you surrendered your agency, you handed away your authority, you abandoned your internal compass. But today, I want to hand it back to you, because trusting yourself is not arrogance. Trusting yourself is alignment. Trusting yourself is integrity. Trusting yourself is the beginning of transformation. When you trust yourself, you stop allowing the world to feed you its fear-based formulas. You stop swallowing the narratives that don't resonate with your soul. You stop accepting the limitations that other people project onto you. Instead, you listen inward. You listen to the whisper of intuition that says, you're capable of more. You listen to the nudge that says, try again. Don't quit yet. You listen to the hunger that says, there is something greater for you. And when you trust that voice, everything changes. Let me share something personal. Years ago, I was at a crossroads. I had two options: the safe option and the meaningful option. The safe option was predictable, respectable, sensible. It carried a steady paycheck and a quiet life. The meaningful option was uncertain, uncomfortable, unstable. It carried risk and possibility in equal measure. Everyone, friends, family, mentors told me to choose the safe option. They meant well. They cared. They wanted to protect me from the unknown. But deep down, I knew that the unknown was exactly where I needed to go. It wasn't confidence that pushed me forward. It was alignment. It was trusting that the voice inside me wasn't lying. It was trusting that growth required a risk that comfort could never offer. It was trusting that my calling deserved more than my caution. And that decision changed the trajectory of my entire life. When you trust yourself, you stop seeking permission to become who you already know you are. You stop waiting for approval to pursue the life you were meant to live. You stop delaying your dreams until circumstances feel convenient. You step into your identity. You step into your power. You step into your purpose. And that, more than anything else, is what transforms your life. Closing, your call to action. So here we are, 3 key truths, 3 transformational shifts. Stop consuming what depletes you. Start nourishing what strengthens you. Trust yourself more than the noise around you. This is not a speech to listen to and forget. This is a decision point, a turning point, a moment you may look back on years from now and say, that was the day I stopped swallowing what the world handed me and started choosing what my future needed. You deserve a life built on your own ingredients, your values, your clarity, your courage, your vision. You deserve to feed your soul things that make you stronger, wiser, braver, freer. So today, make a choice. Throw away the counterfeit vitamins, the fear, the doubt, the negativity, the assumptions, the voices that shrink you. Feed your life the nutrients it has been starving for: purpose, direction, strength, belief, action. And above all, trust yourself. Because the most powerful transformation you will ever experience begins the moment you decide you are done poisoning your potential and ready to nourish your greatness. Your future is hungry. Feed it well.